In an earlier video, I reflected on the meaning of flags, national flags, like the French flag, the Union Jack or British flag, and so on. And today I want to look at flag or no flag and destruction or partial destruction of flags. What does that mean? Is it that serious? Let's look at it. We find out that first of all, the British flag, the one that is now from the 16th century, was known as the British flag or the flag of Britain, and included the red cross of St. George for England and the blue saltire of St. Andrews for Scotland. The name Union appeared first in 1625, according to Oxford International Information. There are various theories as to how it became known as Union Jack. The most plausible one is that when a small flag was mounted on the front of a warship, it was called the Jack. Sometime around 1674, the British flag became formally known as the Union Jack when mounted on a warship. The first version of the flag was created in 1606, featuring only the English and Scottish flags combined. It was amended in 1801 to incorporate the cross of St. Patrick for Ireland. And if you wonder why the Welsh flag was never incorporated, it was because it was already a Principality of England by 1801. So that is for the Union Jack. Now, as for the St. George's flag, what is that? Early representations of St. George as a Crusader knight with bearing the red or white cross dates to the late 13th century, and it became widespread as the saints attributed arms in the 14th and 15th century. Edward III of England chose St. George later as the patron saint of his Order of the Garter in 1348, and took to using a red and white cross in the hoist of his royal standard. So you can go online and find more about the St. George's flag, but basically we know that the St. George's flag is a red cross on a white background flag, and it represented St. George, that is the patron saint of England. And we have seen now that the St. George's flag is also incorporated together with the Saint of Scotland and the St. Patrick's flag for Ireland into one flag, the Union Jack. Now, some people recently on the social media suggested that we remove the cross, saying that they were offended because of that red cross, reminding people of Jesus' crucifixion, a Christian symbol. And they said, simple, remove the cross and keep it as a white flag. It looks innocent until you start looking into what is a white flag. And the same Google says that the white flags have had different meanings through history and depending on the locale. But in warfare, a white flag is a symbol of ceasefire or more surrender. We know that all the people that have decided to surrender come out with either a white flag or a white piece of cloth or even anything white and shake it to indicate that they surrender. So if enemy troops wave a white flag during battle, the opposite side is not allowed to attack them. International law says that displaying a white flag indicates a request to pause fighting, in order to negotiate, but really in order to surrender, because that's the one that is mostly known. So now the question is, do you want to remove the cross from St. George's flag? This means, first of all, destroying Union Jack, and secondly, it means surrender. So this for not only for historians, but for all wise men in this Christmas period.